we got two questions that kind of go right hand in hand here. We have Stray Cat and JF73. So they're talking about sealskin sporrans. So if you find an antique sealskin sporran, maybe something 50 years or older, can you still purchase it and import it into the U.S.? And if you find one in the U.S., is it legal to purchase? And is there other traditional skins that would be a good option instead of seal?
Like an alternative.
Right.
Alternative.
Yeah.
For the look or just for the gravitas?
Yes. It just
either
sure.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For sealskin is the most popular skin for sports. It is traditionally speaking, it is a very, very hard-wearing skin. It has a nice luster to it, a nice sheen to it. It doesn't, rub off, easily over time like rabbit fur or something else can kind of, shed over time. So it is a very, very hard-wearing fur that is traditionally the bee's knees. In the U.S., obviously, we are not able to get sealskin. So the closest approximation to sealskin, which has shorter hair and it is reasonably hard-wearing, is bovine or cow. So most sporrans you see in the U.S. are going to be, or that are sold to the U.S. market, are going to be cow, or something a little different, like badger or musquash or muskrat. Fox is another big one. Raccoon is another good one. So, but the problem that I have with most of those is they tend to be a longer hair and a little poofier. Yep. Yeah. The good thing about seal is that the animal it's a fatter animal, so it retains its heat in its fat, not in the fur, versus like a fox, which is a skinnier animal, but it retains its heat in the actual fur itself, the down in the shorter, in the softer fur. Yeah, undercoat.
The undercoat.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
I don't think you finished answering the question.
What was the other part of the question? And I threw you because I forgot what the other question was.
What do you do if you find an antique sporran?
Yes.
Or if you find one here in the States, is it legal to own? Is it blah, blah, blah? I'm guessing there's some kind of leeway if it's an antique and you're buying it as an antique, not as a garment.
Yes, I would say,
I mean,
don't publicize that you're buying the thing. I don't know. We are not legal scholars. Not legal advice. Warning across the bottom of the screen. It's one of those where I've seen, sealskin sporrans sold into the U.S. before. I've seen companies in the U.S. selling sealskin sporrans before. When we first started the business back in 2003, there was a Celtic Craft Center, I think it was called. It was a store in the UK. They also had a location in California, and they were rated by the wildlife, fish and game, wildlife, whatever it is, insert government agency here, because they were selling sealskin sporrans in the U.S. and they just confiscated all the stuff. They're no longer in business, and they closed up that shop in California, but you are not allowed to sell sealskin in the U.S. Now, is it done? Sure. Do sporrans slip through? Sure. Are they, categorized for customs purposes, maybe, as bovine? And do customs agents know that this is sealskin and this is bovine? No. Are they looking that closely? No. Can you probably slip it through? Yeah, probably. If it's a one-off kind of thing, sure. I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to have stuff confiscated. But it is technically illegal to buy sealskin stuff in the U.S. There's probably some kind of, as long as it's whatever the ban was, and or you can prove that it was created and originally sold whatever the ban was, similar to like ivory, I would assume. Or like antique firearms from like pre-1898 or whatever the weird year is.
Almost having some sort of like certificate with it that's stating that on there in some way.
Yeah, you might be able to do something. Another like weird one, our sporran maker over in the UK, Greg, bought a tiger skin rug at an estate sale that was made, and he had the provenance of it. So he made tiger skin sporrans, but it was from a rug from like 1903 or something. So there are kind of potentially ways around the thing, but not easy necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I know they changed the laws a few years ago to make sure that indigenous peoples who were hunting got their fair due for the pelt, and the pelts each pelt now has like a serial number saying yes, it was hunted by so and so on such and such a date.
Yeah,
so they're trying to cut out black market materials and stuff that way. Over there,
that was.
I don't think that has a bearing on what we're talking about, but
no, because U.S. it's still illegal.
Yeah,
it's
just a fact.
No, but what you're referring to is where we actually ran into a problem as well was there was sealskin sporrans have been a thing for a long time, and then in the late 2000s. Early 2010s, there was a ban in the EU on sealskin, period, where it was legal. And there was a huge pushback and a huge lobby from indigenous peoples in Canada basically saying, this is our livelihood. Like, we survive by getting seals and selling the pelts and selling, the parts of the animal. So you're killing us. So what ended up happening was there was kind of a little, okay, you guys are allowed to do it, but we need a serial number. So each seal that is harvested is essentially given a serial number, and you have to trace that all the way through the process. So it was repealed, I want to say like 5 or 6 years later. In the interim, we had problems, and all of Scotland had problems getting bovine for sporrans because everyone was buying bovine because it was the best substitute for seal. Now they've repealed that, and what you're talking about is, I know that like Greg, for instance, puts a little laser etched tag on the side of his sporrans to say, okay, this is the serial number for this particular seal, so that he's able to be within the bounds of the law and do that going forward. Yep.
So what about are there ways people are trying to make bovine look like sealskin, and is it any good?
I wouldn't say that there's ways that they're making it look like sealskin. They're just doing it. Now, but back to the problem period, the troubles of sealskin period. What ended up happening was there's not that many gray cows. Gray is by far the best color look for sporrans, because A, it matches anything. B, it's the closest look to sealskin, because most sealskins kind of got a gray hue to it. But most cows are like either black and white speckled, or they're white, so they would have to dye. Yeah, and people weren't buying white sporrans. They just didn't want them at the same level that they wanted gray ones. So there was what ended up happening was the industry was getting very creative, and they would either just dye the cows, the bovine, black, but not everyone wanted a black sporran. A lot of people wanted gray. So certain companies took to dyeing their white bovine gray, but it looked like primer. It didn't look great. It kind of it was very flat, where seal has like a luster to it and a shine. The bovine that was coming out, it looked battleship gray was the color that they called it. And it wasn't really good, so it didn't take off. A lot of companies started playing around with like fake fur. So they went to the fashion industry, and they were getting like fake bear or fake fox and things like that. I actually, my wedding sporran was a fake wolf sporran, or gray wolf. So it would have been around 2008, 2009. If I'm thinking about my wedding date, is when this ban went into effect. Yeah. Now we've gotten, seal in the past, like way back when we first started. We were ordering sporrans and not stating, hey, we need bovine because we're in the U.S. And we would occasionally get seal sporrans in, and we're like, we're not supposed to have this. What do we do? Scoob, I'm scared. But you're not allowed.
Yep.
So there you go. Rambling stories.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers the question, but
kind of.
I'd say if you find something in an antique store, you're fine.
I would buy it. I wouldn't worry about it. Here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't take it to Scotland on a trip. If you're going to go on a trip to Scotland, don't bring a seal sporran. Because what's going to happen is You're going to get over there. It's going to be fine. And then you're going to come back. And if customs stops you, or the office at the airport stops you and looks through and says, this is seal, they're going to take it from you. So if you're an American, leave your seal, and you happen to have a sealskin sporran, leave it at home if you travel. Get a cheaper bovine one or go buy one over there. And worst case scenario, mail it back to yourself. So that way you can get one over there and mail it back. And, if you want to lie to customs and send it through, I'm not going to tell. But that's how I would do it.
Leave the seal sporran at home. Oh.
Indeed. Yes.
Billy Joel.
We didn't start the sealskin. It was always burning. Oh. Okay, so tell me, what one fur would you want to see on a sporran? If there's no legalities, no anything in mind, what fur do you want to see on a dress sporran? Tell us in the comments. If you want to see other videos and other playlists that we've done on kilt accessories, check out those playlists over there.